What is going on, my friends, and welcome back to the channel. Here is our Subaru. We're still waiting on quite a few parts as well as tuning for this car, but while we wait, there's a lot of little things that I would like to address on the car. So in this video, we're going to start the bodywork on the Subaru. And specifically, I'm going to start off with the front bumper and exactly what needs to be done to this bumper to be able to make it not look like junk. So currently I only have the bumper held on with one pop clip, and it's clipped into the fenders obviously, but other than that, it should just be pop both side fenders off, pull that clip out, and this whole bumper should come off. Alright, so here we have our extremely crusty and quite honestly messed up front bumper in quite a few spots. So the person who owned this before me did not care about really anything on this car, as you could tell from the zip ties. But our main focus today is going to be on this bumper here. You can see it is cracked in quite a few spots. It's just not doing well. So in my nature, I went to Harbor Freight and I picked up a $20 plastic welding kit, and we're going to see if we can get those cracks unbroken. Mind you, I've never done anything like this before, so who really knows how it's going to go? I don't know. But we're going to figure it out. So let's set up the camera and let's see if we can get some of these cracks fixed. And if you've ever done any sort of body work like plastic repair or anything like that, anything's helpful. If you want to drop it down in the comments to let me know what I'm doing wrong, what I could do better. I want to learn. So with that being said, let's hop into trying to plastic weld a bumper for the first time ever in my life. So this is going to be our guy in question here. So it does come with extra plastic, you know, to melt onto it. I'm going to try to melt all of these together, pretty much like tack weld them first, and then I can go through and fill them. It does also come with some steel mesh to pretty much reinforce the plastic. I'm going to try to use some of this on the back side. I'm not going to use it on the front, but use this on the back so we can at least have a little bit of strength in this bumper when it flexes, and hopefully it won't crack again. This is going to be our iron to be able to weld this back together. So let's see how well this will work. Alright, obviously plastic's going to melt and it stinks and smokes, as you can see from me welding that, but it did turn out pretty well. All the cracks are gone, everything's pretty rigid. Still a couple more little things to weld back up here, but for the most part, that massive crack on the front is taken care of. What we need to do now is we're going to have to flip this guy over, sand all the paint off of it. We're going to have to body fill those cracks, glaze them, primer them, and then we'll be ready for wrap, because we're not going to be re-spraying this car. We're going to be wrapping this car. So a lot of body work involved, along with quite a few other dings and dents on here. I could probably have it taken to PDR and dealt with, but I think I'm going to do the best that I can to PDR it myself, and whatever I can't get out, it's going to be sanded and body work is going to be done to it. Because if you look over here, so on the roof, you see we have rust starting to form under here, and it gets really bad right here and right there. Nowhere else on the car other than right there. Everything else is rust free. It's just that little spot right there. So we're going to have to do some body work on the roof, and if we have all that stuff out, we might as well make sure the doors, the trunk, the rear bumper, everything is pretty much 100%. I want this thing to look as nice as it possibly can. And with the color of wrap that we're going to go with, I don't know if we should change the color of these wheels. I like how these wheels look. I think it looks fine. It's not my first choice, but it's what came on the car, and if we can recoat them a different color, might as well do that. Save a couple bucks, but all in all, this came out really good. If you have anything that you need a plastic welder for, I will link the one that I got from Harbor Freight down in the description box below, so you can go ahead and try it out. But it's going to be on a bodywork. Once this plastic dries completely, we'll flip it over and we'll see what we need to do from there. I think the goal here is we're probably going to take this guy out. And then I want to sand this down pretty much everywhere that's going to be hit by body filler. I want to get this sanded down. I think I'm going to plastic weld the front cracks too, and then sand that down and then do body filler. So let's just get to work. Alright, so we got the main problem areas down and flat. Now we just need to body fill these parts. And while we're here, the previous owner scraped pretty bad on some stuff. So let's get this sanded down. Pretty much the rest of this bumper. Sand it down, and we'll get it body filled. And we'll make it nice again. I'm not looking for perfection on this front bumper because it was pretty damaged, but I am looking for like 98% accuracy, because it is going to be covered up with wrap and I don't want any blemishes showing through the wrap. Alright, body filler of choice is going to be the U-Pole body filler. This is their all-purpose filler. It should work perfectly for what we need it for. It does come with the hardener, so that's good. I'll get this all mixed up, let me get it onto the part. I'm not sure how much of a working time this has, mainly because I've never used body filler before. I want to try to use as little as possible, because I don't want this thing to be full of body filler. Alright, that's mixed up, let's get it onto the part, and let's see if we're any good at bodywork. My guess is probably not. But we're going to give it our best go. Okay, note to self. That was too much hardener. It hardened up before I was even able to get it all on the part. I got a majority where I need to, so I need to mix up a little bit more with less hardener. I got one crack here and another crack down there. Alright, so basically what I'm doing is having no idea what I'm doing and then trying to figure it out. But this is what I came up with. I'm just doing a test spot just to see how it would look. I haven't sanded anything down yet. Let it shrink, let it do what it needs to do. And then we go ahead and we're going to sand this down. I think what I'm going to try to do is sand it down with 400, see if that works, and see how it looks. And then we can go ahead and knock out the rest of everything else that we need to do once we get it cleaned up. Well, while doing some of the body work, obviously we have to get rid of this lump here, which is almost gone. As you saw previously, a few minutes ago, the body filler hardened before I was able to finish up these scrapes on the bottom here. But before it did, I mean, it took everything out. It's smooth to the touch now, which is great. Only issue that I noticed while doing this, one of my plastic welds didn't hold. So I'm going to need to sand all this off and then re-plastic weld this piece here and pretty much repeat this whole process. But one of the main ones is perfectly fine. That's good news. That means I did something right. So bodywork is definitely difficult, but it is completely doable if you just take your time. Obviously, there's going to be mess ups like this crack here, which sucks, but it's all part of the learning process. I'm going to finish sanding this bumper down, and then we're going to apply some body filler to a few of the other parts, like this whole front lip here. It's all messed up. This part up here, and then a little bit down here. And then the rest of the bumper is pretty much good to go. I'm contemplating whether or not to fill in these holes and then get them all sanded down and prepped out, because I'm not running a front license plate, because in the great state of Florida you don't need to. So I don't know if I'm going to do that just yet. Let's wait and see how the rest of this bodywork turns out, and then we'll make that call. Well, while I was welding that, I went ahead and made my decision to go ahead and fill at least these two holes in, because that was from the previous owner, who decided that it's a good idea to use self-tappers when it has holes directly for this application. So we're going to go ahead and fix this up. Alright, there we have somewhat of a finished product. We still have to add filler back into this crack that I just re-welded, as you just saw. And then all these ones went away, the scraping marks. But we're going to get these ones filled in, all these filled in. These should just need a light glaze. All these little pinholes, this here on the bumper, and then these marks as well. This one, and then finish sanding these two down, and then body fill those. Oh, so earlier I used way too much hardener. So let's try this again with way less hardener. Let's just say do a dollop for Daisy. I'm gonna do only that much because that still feels like a lot. I know it's not, but it feels like a lot. Well, we're already off to a better start. I have mad respect for the guys that do this on a daily basis. This shit is not easy. But the cool thing is, we're learning. That is a plus. Well, I think I got the right mixture this time, or I didn't put enough hardener and I'm going to have to redo this. Time will tell. So that's pretty much what it's going to look like. Obviously it's going to look way better than that after we sand it and do all that, but I got all the spots that were pretty tore up, sanded down, and then body filled, as you just saw. I got the license plate holes deleted. I got a few other little miscellaneous spots done, some scratches and all the scraping from the previous owner. This was probably the worst part, because when I did the suspension on this car, when I pulled off the old suspension, the driver's side front was way lower than the rest of the car. So this side took some pretty heavy hammering, and then after my wife nailed a raccoon this whole bumper split. So got all that plastic welded and done. Now we need to let that cure and pray to God that I got the correct mixture of hardener to body filler so it actually cures up and holds and doesn't flake off. Because the other one I had way too much, but it's holding very well, so we'll see. It looks a little light to me, but what do I know? Never done this before. But that's where I'm going to wrap up tonight's video. I got to let this cure before I can make any more progress on the bumper. So with that being said, I appreciate every single one of you guys sticking around to the end of this video. It means the world to me. If you haven't yet, hit the subscribe button, help me out. You can turn on the notification bell. It'll greatly help me out. The channel's growing and it's all to you guys, so thank you everybody who watches my videos and supports me along the way. Lets me do cool stuff like this, and I can't wait to keep doing it. But I'm going to wrap it up right here, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. See ya.